Hi, Mark. Here it is Tuesday, November the 25th, 9:40 a.m. Eastern. That's 2:40 p.m. GMT. US session well underway and going into the afternoon portion of the European session. Let's have a look at the US dollar, and you can see strong sell-off in the US dollar index today, following up from yesterday's small red candlestick. Lower today, taken out all these lows over the past 3 days. Support right now being tested at 99.75 and resistance at 120. Attempted fight back by the US, but hasn't amounted to much, and strong sell-off going into the main portion and the body of the US session. Let's have a look at the majors, starting on the Euro US, and there you see strong green candlestick that's buying euro, selling US dollar. Look, weak US dollar started yesterday and certainly picked up steam today. I've got support at 115.10 and resistance at 115.68. Buyers going to look to test this intraday resistance and higher, and that would be enough to get the daily EMAs to cross to the upside. If sellers are going to step in, sellers of euro and buyers of US, in other words, from weak US dollar to strong US dollar, I believe the bounce down would be off this area and sellers would be looking down at the 115.10. Let's have a look at the pound against the US. Also, very strong, similar pattern to the euro. Let's just move that up just a bit. I've got support at 130.94, just below the 131, and already intraday resistance at 131.79. So a strong move higher, already higher than the average true range for the day. Don't know how much more that can go. Buyers will look to maintain at this resistance level. There's going to be a turnaround again from weak US dollar to strong US dollar. That would be selling pound, buying US. I'd look for a bounce down off this area around the 131.79, but certainly not the case for now, and definitely strong pound, weak US dollar at this point. Let's have a look at the US yen. Again, weak US dollar, just like we're seeing on the other majors. EMAs look like they're about to cross down, even though it's a daily candlestick and a daily chart. So I'll wait for the day to end, but certainly looking that way now. I've got resistance at 157.06 and support at 156.01. Good 100 point pip move already. Sellers testing this 156.10, 156 where we're sitting now, 156.01, the 156 support level. That'll be buying, selling US dollar, buying yen. If there's going to be a turnaround, US dollar fight and does fight back against the yen, I believe it would be off this area here around the 156. Remember, it's already moved about 100 pips so far into the US session. And then let's look at the US dollar against the Canadian. Slightly different pattern here. US dollar has been strong against the Canadian all along. You can see the green candlesticks and higher as well today. I've got support at 141.03 and I've got resistance at 141.24, a narrow just over 20 pip range, so lots of room in both directions. If by a US dollar strength continues against the Canadian, they'll be looking up at the 141.20, and then you've got the resistance at 141.30, which is higher. There's going to be a turnaround here, selling US dollar, buying Canadian. Sellers will be looking at the 141.03 support level, but certainly the outlier amongst the majors. All the other majors are weak against the US dollar this morning. US dollar trying to fight. We'll see if the dollar can fight or bounce back from the relative resistance support levels, whereas US is already strong against the Canadian, and perhaps if US dollar does bounce back, maybe we'll go even higher and test these resistance levels. We've got resistance support levels to work with, all being tested right now. Activity close to these extreme levels. Good trading, keep that discipline, and I will see you at end of day.